Good morning to everybody, and really thank the team and the organizers for inviting Ghana into the space of sustainability that is being embraced all over the world. And I would want to highlight on the topic, enhancing accountability for private sector climate action in Ghana. And we are all aware of the need for private sector climate action. And so I wouldn't emphasize that. But what's important is that Ghana is very committed to exploring the accounting practices and reporting mechanisms for steering the sustainability standards that have been set by the IFRS. And this, we believe, is going to help to combat climate change effectively as our contribution to the global drive. And we consider the private sector as the part of the global or the entire businesses, industries, and enterprises. But we also, when we talk about private sector, cannot delink it from the public sector, because most of the private sectors are built on the public sector regulatory environment. And so whilst we are focusing on the private sector now, waiting for the standards on the public sector sustainability reporting. And so private sector climate action is going to contribute to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, thereby fostering our environmental sustainability. And the innovation and the clean technology, energy efficiency, as well as sustainable practices would affect companies positively or negatively. Beyond this environmental impact that we are expecting, we also believe that the private sector must align with economic imperatives where the operational and efficiency, as well as the risk, are responsible for either attracting investments or otherwise. But in the long run, if done very well, then it should be able to boost our businesses' resilience. And the support for the private sector is very important for us accountants and in Ghana, because we have the private sector as an engine of growth. And when we talk about the private sector, we are looking at the large companies listed, those that are not listed, the SMEs, and the micro enterprise, and so on. So Ghana, being part of the IFAC and PAFA, had been a very key contributor to the process of developing the sustainability, and we started in our commitment was to recognize that the environmental awareness and sustainability growth was key at that time and even now, and that ISSB aligns with global integration, and so we also found it very necessary to be committed to that. The integration of our sustainable practices was also a core aspect of our commitment, and not only the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, but there are several regulatory authorities like the Central Bank, the Ghana Stock Exchange, the Security Exchange Commission, who already have some guidelines on sustainability practices and requirements for the regulators of their sectors. However, those regulations or directives are not very mandatory. We we'll come back to that mandatory point. Now, our tied in with the investor confidence that can be built, looking at or boosted, looking at the fact that when the reports, both non-financial and financial, are appealing and reflect a transparent and accountable system, then investors' confidence and trust will be built. And this is where the resilience businesses can be held or had. Our long-term vision is that Ghana will be aligned fully with the ISSB standards. Implementation will be very wide stretch. We have some gaps. We know not all organizations can meet the requirements at the initial stage, but we hope that the adoption and implementation would, in the long run, be at all levels. What role will accountants play? And here I want us to imagine a situation where accountants have become experts in climate action. Accountants are not only number crunchers or people who are looking at financials. And so the role accountants are to play or have to play include the planning, assessing, preparing, and auditing the climate action, including the transition plans that will be put in place. We are expecting that the planning of the implementation process will be done in a very systematic and professional way, taking into consideration the context of various sectors as well as the limitations regarding the cost, limitations regarding the risk, and then the size of the organizations. We are also having a very important role in assessing the financial viability, and this is a key role that should not be overlooked in the climate action process. And we see the developed countries making commitments, but then we need to also see the value for money of all investments that are being made. And so the role of the accountant becomes very key because we have the skills and capabilities to analyze the cash flow, budgeting, do the projections and so on, and provide the necessary reports for the investments that are being made. And what about the regulatory aspect? Accountants are very key in various organizations that regulate private sector, and we are in terms of climate action regulation landscape, we cannot take the accountants out. It's very important that accountants play or stay in the picture. The final thing I will make mention, which is not the only, it's not limited to this, but is the auditing and assurance role that accountants can play. So, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can.
Okay, so I think my slide. I lost my slide.
Oh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to what Ghana has done.
Sorry, can you check the slides? Are they on your side or on our side?
They are on my side, please.
Oh, okay. Because we can't see them. Do you want to reload them? Try again.
Okay, can you see?
Yeah, we can see now. Yes, continue. We can see.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. So what has Ghana done specifically? I think so far I've just highlighted the role of accountants in general. but what has the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana done? The first thing we want to relate with is the ISSB establishment at COP26 in Glasgow, which is very key, and we followed ISSB since then on all the journeys and the support that had come through G7, G20. We have contributed to the development of the standards when the exposure drafts were issued, and we did that before the deadline on the 29th of July. The Institute on the day of launch, 26th, 2023, was when we announced our early adoption, and that set the stage for implementation. But in fact, prior to that, just before the launch, we had a steering committee put in place. And I would like to say here that by the Chartered Accountants Act at 1058, which mandates the institute, or which establishes the institute, we are supposed to be the authority or regulatory authority that issues or gives directives on accounting standards in the country. So the Companies Act, our own law, and several other public financial management laws gives that authority to the institute. And so by this, we find ourselves in a very unique position, not to do it alone, but to work closely with all the relevant stakeholders and get the institute to drive the affairs of the sustainability accounting standard adoption and implementation. So based on this, when the steering committee was formed, it was well represented with various state actors as well as some private actors. The Institute's steering committee has formed 3 subcommittees since then, and they are the Stakeholder Engagement Committee. They are supposed to be doing critical stakeholder engagement, and so far, within the past 2 weeks, they've had one-on-one engagement with some institutions, especially the public regulatory authorities. For about 11 of them have been engaged so far. These are the kickoff meetings to enable the steering committee continue stakeholder engagement with them. The Communication and Awareness and Advocacy Committee is the second committee, which is also responsible for creating and promoting awareness and advocacy on the IFRS standards. And we have them working on a number of snippets, sharing information, and their work is also ongoing. The last group is the Technical and Research Committee, and they are to ensure the data integrity and the research needs of the process. And in fact, there is a gap they have identified that we do not have any baseline study yet on the market readiness. And so in terms of carrying out research, they are at the moment soliciting for support to be able to do that baseline study. We also have the Institute having a composite work plan with the timelines and the subcommittees mapping and segmenting their programs. And then the stakeholders onboarding as well has been captured in this. These have all been aligned with the directives of the ISSB. And I'm happy to say that we were able to make contributions towards the digital taxonomy. We were able to make, so there are forms or surveys that are going on by FAFA, by ISSB, which we are contributing to, so that globally our work will be part of the finished products that will come out. Our accomplishments. On 20th July 2023, We jointly had a sustainability day with the ACCA and a panel discussion on the role of chartered accountants in sustainability journey was shared. It was a very successful program. And the committee's work, I have talked about it already. And then there are, this table reflects how our activities have been on sustainability. And taking from even 2018, we had our corporate governance faculty of the Institute starting with an event on post-ERM, demystifying sustainability risk. Then in 2021, October 14, our corporate financial management faculty also had an event on debt sustainability in Ghana. And just to chip in that, IFRS Ghana has 6 faculties that helps in supporting the capacity building and technical work on the in relation to accountants profession in general. We also have 23 district societies, and these societies, some of them have done some work. So the Adenta District Society in January 2022 had the role of accountants in dealing with ESG issues in a corporate organization. The conference in May 2022 had a topic on climate change and sustainability issues. June 2022, we had another topic, climate finance and Africa's development. Our accountants conference in 2023 had been tied strongly on the promoting sustainability and building trust and nurturing partnership, and sustainability ran through many topics that were discussed. We also had unpacking the Pandora box of carbon trading, lessons for Ghana's carbon market, and the role of accountants in June 2023. That was just a few days before the launch of the IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. The last 2 here are gearing up for the sustainability and climate change disclosure and assurance, and ISSB standards 1 and 2, understanding their requirements and implications for corporate reporting. This last one was held with the ABWA Council and ICA Ghana being the technical unit of the ABWA provided a strong presentation. Dear moderator and ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy that we as a country have done a little bit of the big work ahead of us as a country, and it is our hope that having adopted the IFRS S1 and S2, which is to be implemented by the 1st of January 2024, we will have significant number of our companies in the private sector appreciating the need for this reporting and the implementation being a smooth one. Thank you very much for your attention.